Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Teen Sports Chatter. As always, I'm your host, Kunal Singh. We know that this is our second episode of Teen Sports Chatter in the last 3 weeks. It's kind of close together, but the sports world is always happening and it's very busy at this time of year. Saying that, we have the NBA Finals, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. We have the Champions League just happening on Saturday, and we have the Women's World Cup underway. And with that, I want to go to kind of the talk of the town. Before that, I want to introduce my set. I have Jonathan Davis and Neil Vishwanath on my right.
Nice to be back.
And then on my left, I have Ethan Christensen and Vishal Bomdika. He's our little Warriors analyst. And so, a recap of the playoffs so far. The Cavs surprised us with a sweep. Some of us even thought Atlanta could pull out in 7 games. And then 4 out of 5 of us correctly predicted that the hometown team, the Golden State Warriors, the two fans right here, pulled it out in 5 games over the Houston Rockets. And then now we have an NBA Finals. It's tied up 1-1. Warriors took Game 1. Cleveland took Game 2. And now the series is headed to Cleveland. Probably the biggest news in this series is that Kyrie Irving got injured late in Game 1. Unfortunately, missed overtime. That's also going to really hurt the Cavs. They're really hobbled in that series, and having Kyrie out adds to that even more. So let me get your thoughts on Game 1.
Well, look, Stephen Curry has been one of the most consistent players all throughout these playoffs. You know, he had 26 points, 8 assists, really nice numbers the first game. Klay Thompson complemented that pretty nicely with 21 points, but something we missed in Game 2 that we had in Game 1 was that extra player, you know. Andre Iguodala, 15 points, D'd up LeBron James better than anyone else on that team. I mean, he just played out of his mind that game, and we need that. We need more of that.
The bench player is so important as Cleveland lacks the depth.
If you look at, we're going to talk about Game 2, but Klay Thompson was the only person in Game 2 stepping up.
Yeah.
And then if you look at Game 1, on the other hand, players are stepping up, and then defense, like you said, LeBron was just isolated every single possession. Okay, it was just repeating the same thing.
Yeah, what was
highest usage rate in postseason history. 41.
Yeah, but Iguodala, he was shutting him down at the end of the game when it mattered, and then OT usually at home. Obviously, Game 2 proves us wrong, but at home.
In OT, they only scored 2 points in the last second of the
and it was
game.
only LeBron.
And what's important about Iguodala guarding him is that in Game 2 he finished with 2 personal fouls, and then in Game 1 he finished with 2 personal fouls. And in Game 2, he had 5 fouls, and he had to try and aggressively defend LeBron.
Well, I think LeBron was definitely just attacking.
Exactly. He had to go at it. He tried.
That was the game plan.
If you think about it, LeBron has to attack. Like, how else are they going to have a chance?
In Game 1, that's part.
Especially with Kyrie out, he's probably.
Well, it was pretty obvious he was trying to get him in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to be thinking, I have to take
This is
over.
my team,
I mean,
guys.
he's got no one else.
Of course.
And in Game 1, I think what Iguodala did to LeBron, as you two were saying about his defense, the last shot that LeBron took to win the game, Iggy forced him into a jumper.
Yeah, that was a
That's
bad
as
shot.
Warriors fans, we would prefer that every day of the week. Instead of him going to the, it was like step back, fade away. It was like
You saw him change though in the last game.
yeah, he went to the rim exactly, and he
call that one.
almost made that one. But I mean,
close.
but that just goes to show how Iguodala can make such a difference. And as you said, the fouls it adjusts his aggressiveness, and it really changes the whole game.
And speaking of fouls, here's my key fact, number 1 here. The fouls in Game 1 had a total of 36 fouls. Game 2, there were 55 fouls, so that's a huge discrepancy there. And then I want to touch on Cleveland's lack of depth, all right? So we look at the Game 1 box score. LeBron scored 44 out of 100. That's, what, 44% of the
That's 44% right there.
41% usage rate.
Yeah, and so also 92 out of the 100 points came from 4 players. That's ridiculous.
They're a top-heavy team.
And even if you look at their bench, if they ever score any points, it's J.R. Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
You look at the
like
last,
scores.
And that's boom or bust.
James Jones had a good game.
Going off of what Kanal said, in the second half of Game 1, just think about this and put this into perspective. They had 3 players score the ball the whole second half in Irving, Mozgov, and LeBron.
Yeah.
When you have that little depth in the grand scheme of the series, I don't see how it's going to hold out.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to rely on that.
Especially a team playing a team like the Warriors that
Yeah.
are so deep
67
and can
wins.
get those 16 points
One of those
from
teams,
one of those players on
One
the
of those
bench.
players is LeBron, though.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's why.
That is
That's
the
why.
great factor.
I think you bring up an interesting point, though, about how we are so deep and how we're so versatile, and we have so many players that can score. Tying into that Game 2,
Yeah, I
No
think
one
you
scored.
saw a lot more of the Warriors' depth influence the game
And-
in Game 1, and then in Game 2.
I think it was.
You look at Game 1, 10 people scored in Game 1 for the Warriors.
And then compared to Game 2, I mean, okay, we still had a lot of people
but
scoring,
a lot
just
of
not
had
as
two
much.
points.
I
Yeah.
don't think one person on the bench had over
And
10 points.
also, the Warriors only had 16 assists that game compared to season average, I think, around 25-ish, which is like a lot. That's 9 assists. That's a lot.
I mean, a lot of that was just one-on-one with Klay
And no,
Thompson.
exactly. And
There
I
were no
think
passes,
it's
no
not even
passing.
the one-on-one. It's when Klay Thompson was coming off his screens, he immediately shot it instead of doing that extra pass, which opens up everything.
noticed
And
He was
you
trying
immediately
to create
you're
his own
bailing,
shot, too.
You're bailing them out.
And something I want to just touch on before we head into game 2. One thing is that Kyrie Irving, he played really, really well, and he's obviously
that's
such a
very
huge
true.
player. He had 23 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. I mean, I talk about stuff
One
in the
steal and
stat
one
sheet.
block and stuff.
Exactly. That's like really, really
Because
good.
anything to alleviate the pressure from LeBron
It's
James.
helps so much.
However, okay, Kyrie's a great ball handler. He adds another star shooter. Great athleticism. I don't think the Cavs' game plan changes that much,
Yeah, it
though.
does.
I mean, LeBron shot 35 shots the first game, 35
Honestly,
the second game.
their game plan is give it to LeBron.
It's give it to
Let's be
LeBron.
honest.
Okay, but like, you're talking about an already top-heavy team in terms of when they
Exactly.
had Kyrie Irving, their top scorers were still, you know, Kyrie
They're missing
and
their
LeBron.
top 3, top
And now
4.
when you take that away from them, that's like a huge blow.
Because
But I think that just gives a lot. I mean, look, LeBron is going to take you one-on-one no matter what. Kyrie there, Kyrie not. With Matthew Dellavedova in there, he was playing good defense. He was playing better defense than Kyrie Irving.
I agree with that. I definitely.
I mean,
agree
I
with
don't
Definitely
think
better than Kyrie
the fact
Irving.
that Kyrie can score is great, but when you have LeBron James, the king of basketball right now,
that. I actually didn't think of that. That's a good point.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Because like the thing though is when LeBron drives, the defense is starting to just collapse. Now that Kyrie Irving isn't there to really spread the
that's
floor
true.
as
And
much.
he's
'cause
also
They
another
still have a
shooter.
great amount of
yeah,
shooters.
James
Shumpert,
Jones. No, they
Jones.
James Jones.
Yeah.
James
James
Jones
Jones.
I can't believe
switched.
James
J.R.
Jones
switched.
showed up. Are you kidding
Like,
me?
That's all he can do, though.
J.R.
Yeah, that
Smith
was
is
just
like
known.
hot or not.
3-point specialist, right?
You
And
give him an
then
open shot, he'll knock down.
yeah, as we transition to game 2, I want you to talk about kind of the Bogut factor and what he's meant in the series.
Look, Bogut's a great player. I think we've all seen that across this year.
Who went number 1?
He was a great player. He's been
2005.
rebounding. We don't expect him to score. We're a very balanced team. We don't need him to
He
score.
took 5 shots last game, I think.
However, we do need him to rebound, and that's one thing he cannot
good,
do against
yeah.
Mozgov. He ended up just straight up like pushing him with his hands face to face instead of putting his
clear
butt.
foul.
He's just not putting
Clear
the effort
fouling.
in. It's not like he's 3 inches
getting-
shorter,
he's
20
giving
pounds
up.
lighter.
No, yeah, basically what he's saying is the offense, that's not a problem, okay? He's like, I don't
Obviously,
even, yeah, he barely
Warriors have
scored
the
last
offense,
game.
right?
But the defense, he needs to
Yeah,
be
oh.
there, okay?
He's our
Mozgov.
stopper.
Yeah,
We
that's
need
why-
that.
Mozgov's good. He's athletic. He's talented. But he's not something
he's
that
not great,
Bogut
yeah.
hasn't seen before. I mean, Bogut's hung
Like,
with
who
the
knew
best.
about Mozgov before the NBA Finals?
Yeah.
Nobody knew about Mozgov.
Yeah,
Bogut
Bogut's
hung with
making
Marc
him known.
Gasol.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
the second
exactly.
thing is that I think Bogut influences the game like the second. He has the second biggest efficiency when he's off and on the court behind the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert. And my second fun fact of game 1 is that every single player on the Warriors had a positive plus-minus except Andrew Bogut, who was -6. Now
I think
moving.
that goes to show how effective
Yeah.
the small line is.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly,
Yep.
exactly. And getting into
Small
game 2. All right, Steph.
Okay.
I mean, this is gonna hurt you. 5 for 23, 2 for 15,
God.
1 for 9 uncontested, 0 for 8 against Dellavedova off game.
Okay. I'm actually really happy about that one stat that you said. 1 of 9 on uncontested. How often is that going to happen
never.
again? Think about that
Usually he's
realistically
9 of 9.
in terms of
Everyone's,
his career.
everyone's entitled to an off game.
Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
Steve said.
don't want
MJ,
that to happen
Tim
in
Duncan.
game
You don't want it to happen in the
Everybody's
NBA
fine.
Finals. That's the biggest thing.
And not to say, not to say he's excused from it because.
No, he's not.
But
no
obviously
such
it's
thing,
a big stage. But I expect him to come back like with a really great game.
I think what's more important than the fact that he missed so many shots was that his decision making was pretty
Exactly.
poor.
Yeah.
It was
That's what
poor.
I-
His shots,
The
his
shots
shot
he missed.
Shots are
selection.
fine.
Yeah.
All right,
were-
you're gonna
no,
miss
no,
shots.
There were some shots that I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
definitely.
He tried to
Curry,
like
Steph
force
Curry.
it towards the end.
The
to,
pass.
like,
There
was
try
a-
to,
pass
yeah.
through the
There
bounce
were
pass.
3 minutes left, and Steph Curry has the ball, and they're on a run,
Cross-court.
and all he pulls up with Dellavedova right in
Yeah.
his face.
They didn't
Yeah.
move the ball. They did not move the
They
ball.
didn't use the fact that they're so deep. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
were,
They,
it
yeah,
became the
kind
Steph
of going back
Curry,
to what we
Klay
talked about
Thompson
earlier,
show.
they didn't do this like. You saw less people that are normally get involved get involved.
exactly.
I think we can all agree that the Warriors' offense comes through Stephen Curry, whether it be three-pointers
Sure.
or driving and
He's a
kicking.
big, huge part of the offense.
It all
I-
opens up with him being double
I
teamed
don't
at the
think
top of the key.
Exactly. I don't think he actually got into the lane very many times and was able to kick out or finish. He's a great finisher left and right. He can pass both ways very well. He's got great court vision.
Yeah, he just wasn't using it.
He just wasn't using it.
I think, I think based off of what you're saying about his decision making, you're like, I don't know, like I don't care how great a shooter you are. Once you miss that many, I think you should start attacking, considering you tied the game up with a really easy layup. I thought.
Get a couple layups to go and get a couple free throws to go and start to get.
He started doing that at the end of
That's
regulation.
that's what made him special versus just like a Ray Allen. He could create his own shot. He could drive
And he
to
can
the
pass
hoop
the
too.
ball.
So why
He did not pass the ball.
Curry can. No, yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's
He
what I'm saying.
can.
Curry, of
Unlike
course,
I
someone
think
like Ray
he
Allen.
figured. I feel like it didn't work the first 3 quarters. He figured it out in the fourth, and then
He kinda
forgot
figured
about
it
it in
out.
overtime.
Now, Van Gundy had a comment in the game saying, I like how Steph Curry, he's not shooting the ball well, but he's still continuing to shoot the ball.
Exactly.
I
It's
agree
good to
with
some
that.
extent.
I agree with
Yeah.
that, and I don't agree with that.
But
Me
then
being a basketball player, when I'm cold, I'll drive the ball. I'll try to create contact.
And
Something
you
new,
try and pass
something
the
new.
ball.
Exactly.
The thing is, Curry, he had
Clay was
6
feeling it.
turnovers. He only had 5 assists. If someone's shooting like that, I think they know. If he's such a good shooter, he shot so many times, he should know when he's off, right?
Yeah.
And so with that, I think you need to move. That involves moving the ball even more instead of moving it less. Fun fact.
Use all the pieces.
Fun fact number 3: Warriors average 303 passes a game, only pass the ball 217 times.
That's awful.
It's like
it,
minus
it,
100.
It just became the Clay Thompson
Only
show. at one
16
point.
assists too.
No, it was the Klay Thompson show, but it's also we're not going to move the ball. We're going to come down the court. Curry's going to shoot a deep 3. We're going to go
But-
back, make a stop. They're going to come back down the court, shoot a 3 again.
I think, but based off of that,
And they're quick 3s too.
like if that's the way we're gonna lose, when literally we're playing terribly except for one player, and we're not playing the way we've been playing the Warriors have been playing the whole season, I think that's a good sign for the next coming games, because we saw in games 2 and 3 in the Memphis, I think that those are really similar games to Game 2 of the NBA Finals, in that the Warriors were out of their system. If they can just get back in their system, I don't think the Warriors.
I mean,
should be
they're,
winning.
need to
they're
get back
going to
into the
Cleveland now. Though.
Yeah.
What they
Okay.
need to
I
do-
don't think home field.
I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Yeah,
Because
it
the
doesn't.
thing about it, if Cleveland can win in a 47-3 arena, I think we can win an arena that is not.
I think
as
what
good.
they need to do is to just get some confidence back in some of the players. Harry Barnes, HB, he's been a great player the whole postseason. I'm sorry he didn't play well
he didn't
last
step
night.
up.
But like
he didn't step
anytime,
up.
anytime you want to like go shot for shot with LeBron James, which I
risky.
kind of think the
risky.
Warriors did in Game 2,
That's why I was so
they're
close.
gonna lose. So they got to get back to what they did in Game 1, like spread the wealth a little bit.
And I know you said Harrison Barnes didn't play as well as he usually does. Fun fact number 4: the Warrior who has led the Warriors in the Warrior player who's led the Dubs in both games with plus minus, Harrison Barnes, plus 11 and plus
He's
5
been
last
very
night.
good. Contrary to Draymond Green, in my opinion, but you can argue with that.
Yeah, and so looking
I
at the
mean,
Are
box
you saying
score.
Draymond's better?
I'm saying
No,
no. I'm
he's
saying
not playing
Draymond's not
well.
been playing to his
Yeah.
full
No,
potential.
but
Not in the
see,
finals.
yeah,
I think
not-
in the offensive side,
in
but
the
defense
playoffs
is
too,
big.
generally,
Okay,
he's been
defensive
playing
side.
very
Ready?
well.
Defensive
This,
side's been
this is
good.
his box score for last night. 10 points, right? That's not as great.
boards.
2 for 7. And then
Yeah.
he has 10 boards. Okay, he has 1 assist. Oh, excuse me. He has 10 boards, 2 assists, 5 steals, and 4 blocks. Dude, that's
So
mass play.
versatile. Look.
That's such great defense.
Yeah,
But I think when you examine a player, you can look at stats, and he did do some good defensive
That
work.
block on LeBron, that
Oh,
was
that was a
crucial.
crazy
That was
nice block. Yeah. But I don't know. I just watching him play, his decision making. He tried lobbing it to Andrew Bogut in the
Twice.
first
Yeah.
quarter
Happened
twice.
twice.
Yeah.
Horrible
No,
passes.
and-
Horrible.
He doesn't
passes.
strike me as a
Yeah,
very
4
good decision
turnovers.
maker.
Yeah.
His decision making on the court is not.
It's
is not
it's like
very.
it's
Everybody's
like
just
his
pretty
whole-
bad.
It's like his
Yeah,
whole
yeah, in
game.
Game 2,
Yeah.
everyone
No,
was
Everybody's
and you
pretty
saw
bad, I
sometimes
thought.
Bogut, like he could barely deal with Mozgov, but he had to deal with Mozgov and Tristan Thompson.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and
Like,
always it's
Makes
like
it tough.
one
Draymond
eye on
Green
them,
has
one
to,
eye.
yeah, Draymond Green has to shut down because he's made his living off like shutting down people who are bigger
He's
than him.
known for that.
Okay,
kind of. He's
but
known
like
for-
he
Undersized
really,
4 or 5.
exactly.
Right,
yeah.
and so that leading into the small lineup, how important is that for the Warriors? Because a lot of people talk about how big a factor Tristan Thompson is. He had 14 rebounds last night.
Yeah.
He had 7 offensive rebounds, but he was minus 21. And then so knowing that, the Warriors still go small, knowing that Tristan Thompson can't shoot and he struggles at the free throw line. So how important is that small lineup?
I think we've really seen it in some of the playoff games. When they go small, they get points. They get buckets. You know,
Quickly,
the other
too.
team
they
has
put on
to
a
just
run.
get it.
We get them really
The other
quickly.
team has
Yeah.
to go small. Now you might say, oh, they still have Tristan Thompson. He's going to eat you alive on the boards. I'm sorry. They have Draymond Green, he's battled with Marc Gasol in the playoffs. Battled.
Yeah.
He can handle Tristan
Marc Gasol's
Thompson.
best center.
I
but
think
he hasn't
Marc
done that well
Gasol
with
against Tristan
Bogut-
Thompson.
It
so
doesn't
far.
matter though. With Bogut in, he's not doing you any good. They're not getting boards with
I agree
Bogut.
with that. I agree with
But
that.
also,
with Bogut out, it's
consider
even better.
Marc Gasol is more of a perimeter center. He plays at the top of the key, while Tristan Thompson just banging.
Yeah, you can consider that, but he's also the best
Yeah,
center in
he's
the
also
league.
better.
Yeah, that's
But, okay,
Hey,
if
I
you
would
keep
also
Bogut-
take Tristan Thompson over Timothy Mozgov in the game right now.
But if
which
you
is
keep
another-
Bogut in, that's going to force Mozgov and
Exactly.
Tristan Thompson to be in. That's 2 offensive rebounders.
No,
Take Bogut out, it doesn't matter.
I
Even-
agree with you. They should go small. I definitely agree with you because Bogut is not doing well.
And they did
at
go
all.
They're going to
They did
struggle
that,
with
yeah.
rebounds this way or
Draymond
this way.
still
He
needs to
doesn't
step
matter.
up, is what you're saying,
Exactly.
right?
I think that the small lineup, the small lineup is more effective against a team like Houston, as opposed because Houston has.
They'll just play along to
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
They want to run too.
Whereas the Cavs, I think, might adapt a little bit better to
A
the small
slower
lineup.
game favors the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, it does.
Game
They
2 was
control
way
the
slower.
whole
That's why you go small.
If
slower
they
game.
had
Yeah, but
Kyrie,
they just want LeBron to play LeBron's
LeBron
game.
isolation.
if they had Kyrie, they would prefer to play fast
Yeah,
pace.
yeah.
But now with Dellavedova, obviously they prefer just giving it to LeBron.
The Australian rugby player
Yeah,
stepping
you know,
it up,
guys, he
dude.
is so good because he plays rugby. Yeah, all the physical speed. No, that's an absolute joke. But no, he did play good defense
He did.
on Curry, but
held a
he
lot.
was 3 for 10 from the field.
That last
Okay.
play, he crashed the boards. How did he even get the rebound
Klay
and
Thompson
then get
forgot to
fouled?
box him out,
Exactly.
but-
Like that's crucial. He has heart. Okay.
I think what you're talking about is defense, though. I don't like to assign Dellavedova's defense to the reason Steph Curry
Yeah,
played.
I don't want to do that.
Because
You-
the 1
I
for
think-
9 on
I
Okay,
think
fine.
you-
Just some,
you-
I'm not going
you
to take
can't
away all
like,
of it,
all
but
of it.
He played physical defense, but guess what? Every defender in the NBA
does that
plays
with Steph.
physical
You can
defense
try
with
that with
Steph.
Steph.
But you cannot just sag off Steph. Everyone does that.
More often than not, he's going to make them pay.
I
It
think
doesn't
people
matter
just
what
want
they
to
do.
put the blame on someone for the game.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had a bad shooting game, but like it was the Cavs defense. It wasn't just Dellavedova.
No, they were physical. They
I
were
don't
phys-
think it was just Dellavedova. I
Exactly.
think that was Dellavedova getting a lot of help that you didn't see.
Yep.
Like Curry would come off and Dellavedova would get help from someone, and I don't think you saw that as much in game
Yeah.
1.
They just wanted it more. Did you see how much like emotion? Like, did you see LeBron when he
No
won
one
the
thought
game?
they could
see
do
him
it.
like
Yeah,
that.
they,
You won't see him like that.
everyone
No, they're definitely
wrote them
fired
off.
up.
If they, no,
Except for you guys. You guys actually thought they had a chance. It was-
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Well, you can't
we
count a
him
team
down
out.
11.
Exactly.
How can you
Okay.
count a team out?
You don't want to jinx it, especially for
And
Warriors
also-
fans.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying about LeBron's emotion, hopefully this doesn't happen, but if the Cavaliers do win, can the argument be made that he's the greatest player ever?
Yo,
No.
God, if they
This-
win,
If they win
This would
this
be his
year,
greatest accomplishment in his career.
Think
so
about
It would.
Think about it.
Who
'cause
else is on the team?
JD,
other than
compare-
Three
this is
for
like
three.
2007
3 for 3
all
in the NBA
again.
Finals. I'm sorry.
3 and 3.
No, but this is
yeah,
two-
No,
three
sorry.
and 3.
No. Yeah, no. No, sorry. 3 and 3. You're right.
Yeah.
This
3
is
for
without.
6.
This, he doesn't have any. This is 2007 all over again. When he
This
got
is-
I'm
swept.
sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
I don't think
the greatest
he's-
player of all
It's 3
time
for
will not
3.
lose in the finals.
It should be
That's
3
true.
for 3.
That's true.
But it should be 2 for 4
I
with
don't
Rams.
think
Rams.
I don't think this would make him the greatest player of all time.
I don't think so.
But this would be the greatest accomplishment.
Yeah,
of
Look,
his
definitely.
career.
Michael
Yeah.
Jordan, if you look up a record, if you're looking on your computer, you're like, I just want to look up some NBA records, Michael Jordan will have it. I
True.
promise you. Except for the most points of all
And
time
like
by
Kareem.
Kareem, Michael Jordan has it. I mean, 6 NBA Finals MVPs. How many MVPs does Michael Jordan have? 6, right?
Something
Something crazy
5,
like
6,
that.
yeah.
5, 6, or
And
something like
finals
that.
MVPs, all that.
I mean,
Yeah,
he had a
finals
stacked
MVP,
team
yeah.
and the greatest
Yeah,
coach of all
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
But
All right,
still.
quickly predictions for the rest of the series.
Warriors in 6.
I gotta go with Cavs in 7.
I'll take Warriors in 6.
Let's say Warriors in 6.
I got Warriors in 7. And so with that, I'd like to wrap up basketball, and I'm going to give you a little update as we switch our sets out. And so I'm going to give you the update on everything that's been going on in the last 3 weeks of sports. So pretty much we have the NHL Finals, which is the other big U.S. sport that has their finals. The Stanley Cup Finals are going on right now. The Blackhawks and the Tampa Bay Lightning are tied 1-1. I honestly don't know the score of the game right now, as Game 3 is happening in the Windy City right now. But that should be a terrific series. And then the Champions League, the soccer, I don't know if you guys know that, but it's the huge soccer final in Europe. It took place in Berlin between Barcelona and Juventus. Juventus are the old lady, the big Italian team. And Barcelona won 3-1, took care of business. They win the Spanish treble. And then the U.S. Women's World Cup, they played today. Won 3-1 against Australia. Huge win, great start for them. And finally, most importantly, Tom Brady is set to appeal his 4-game suspension
most important.
on June 23rd.
About to lose.
Hashtag free Brady. So with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Josh Spain.
Good to be back.
And so we are going to get into our little Fantasy Central. But before that, I want to give you an update on what's going on in the real MLB, not the fantasy world. Right now, we have the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays emerging from the pack in the AL East. We have the Minnesota Twins kind of surprising everyone. They're up 1 game on the Kansas City Royals in the AL Central. And then we have the Houston Rockets Houston Astros, who are still hot. They're 3.5 games over the Texas Rangers, not the Seattle Mariners, not the Los Angeles Angels, but they're 3.5 games over the Texas Rangers. And in the NL, we have the Mets continuing their hot start, half a game over the Washington Nationals. St. Louis, 38-19. That's 19 games over 500. They're 6.5 games over the Pirates. And then we have a very clumped NL West with the Dodgers half a game over your San Francisco Giants. Yeah. And so now let's get into fantasy baseball. I know we didn't do this last time, but I'm very excited to cover some of this. So let's start with JD. Dude, who's hot, who's not?
D. Gordon. He was your pick last time.
372.
372, 20 bags stolen. I mean, 0 home runs, but he's D. Gordon.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I mean, he makes up for the home runs. He compensates with 20 stolen bases.
One more quick one is Prince Fielder coming off last year's
356.
season-ending injury.
Yeah.
He's like a beast.
Boy.
He hit horribly last season. I mean, when he played, he hit horribly and he
Yeah.
was injured. Now he's hitting like a beast.
Agreed.
Roids.
Neil.
Yeah, so for hot, I got to go with Paul Goldschmidt. He is hitting so well right now. Okay, watch out for the Triple Crown bid that he has. And honestly, in addition, I got to go with Nolan Arenado, okay?
Yeah.
43 RBIs this year. He's just seeing the ball so
Yeah.
well, okay? Like, I honestly think he's just on fire
Yeah,
right
and
now.
Paul Goldschmidt, right? I believe he's second in the NL in
Home runs.
average. He's tied for second in home runs, and he's tied for first in RBIs.
So
Triple Crown,
consistent all
and he's
around,
so good. He's
exactly.
such a good player.
So for a player I've got who's hot right now, I've got Eduardo Rodriguez, the young pitching prospect for the Red Sox. He's only had 2 starts, but he has pitched incredibly in
Yeah.
those 2 starts. He's got a .61 ERA with 14 Ks. He is going off.
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
first 2
starting to
starts.
step up.
Yeah.
Buchholz pitching
We
better.
definitely
Miley.
need him.
Yeah, someone that really sticks out to me is Dodgers pitcher Mike Bolsinger.
Yeah.
He's only had, 3 starts,
Yeah.
going on 4 now. He has a 1.2 ERA. He's looking really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
looking
trust anyone
really
from the
good.
Dodgers.
Yeah.
And Peterson's on roids. This guy's probably
Peterson has
Sorry,
come
no,
down, dude.
they're a
Honestly,
shady
he
team.
just- he just
The,
played.
the hometown boys on steroids.
I
That's
don't
what
care.
Jonathan
I
Davis
don't care
has
where
to
he's
say.
from.
For my hot, I have AJ Pollock. I mean, just as we mentioned, Paul Goldschmidt, he's batting right before them. Someone who can get on base and is in front of Miguel Cabrera or Paul Goldschmidt. Oh my God, they're due for a huge year.
Yep.
And then I have Pedroia, my boy Dustin Pedroia, my baseball role model. He's batting
DP.
483 in his last 7 games. And then Carlos Martinez, he's kind of filled in for the void behind Michael Waka. And then, so he's kind of pitching really well. In the last 27 innings, he's allowed 1 earned run and has 32 strikeouts. That's absolutely incredible. And so, who's not hot?
Edwin Encarnacion, I think he's over the
Injuries.
past 3 years or something. He's injured right now. He's had like the 3rd most home runs
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
He's batting 219, 12 bombs, 30 ribbies. Not Edwin Encarnacion numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's struggling right now, though, but like the Blue Jays offense is just so good.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
Donaldson.
know.
Yeah.
Like, I
Oh
think a
my
comeback
God.
is possible
He's a
during this
And
season.
Reyes, he's been on a tear
Reyes
also.
the dress.
Yeah, Reyes to the dress.
Jose Bautista, too. He's
Yeah. Oh,
playing
he's
great.
tearing it up. And even like Kevin Pillar, Russell Martin. Who the hell
Russell
are these
Martin,
guys? They're playing so well. What do you got?
Yeah, I got Jeff Smarja. Okay, not giving up 9 earned runs and 6, and I mean in his last 2 starts,
Yeah.
and he just has like his ERA is just like close to 5 right now. It's just not that great, and I just don't see him doing.
Yeah, I
very
think the
much.
trades might have messed him up. He went
Oh,
from
yeah.
Chicago, then he went to Oakland for like 2 months. They got him for the playoffs.
Yeah.
They still
Weird.
lost.
Yeah, he's a
And
great
then-
pitcher.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
now he's back.
now.
He's back in Chicago, but in a different stadium.
Yep.
What do you got?
I got Robinson Cano. I kind of talked about him in our last show as
Yeah.
off to a rocky start.
And he's still.
And he
not doing much
still in
better.
his little slump.
3 weeks
Robinson
later.
Cano cannot see the ball well, and he's just
And he's one of those players that's, I mean, he's like a really talked about player, but he's always under the radar. He's always batting like 320 at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's same guy, Robinson Cano. I just don't see great numbers from him. I don't see, he's not Robinson Cano right now.
Yeah.
He's
And-
really not.
Yeah, and someone who's not themselves, Melky Cabrera. He was so good.
Oh, yeah.
I believe he was good for the Giants, right? He was decent, but then he
Steroids,
took
but-
steroids. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean steroids.
You got nothing.
Yeah.
Gary Bonds is your favorite player.
Okay, let's not get into that. Otherwise, we
Yeah,
won't,
right
we
now.
won't finish
Not
the
get
show
to
on
the
time.
stock, no.
And then so Melky, she's only batting 226, and that offense has a lot of potential. Really slacking. And then I got Angel Pagan. He got
yeah.
booted from I think the first. He got
There it
booted from
is.
the top spot because of Nori Aoki's hitting the ball
Oh my
really
God,
well.
yeah.
He scored. Pagan scored once in 10 games. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Noya Yuki's good.
Yeah.
They beat him in the World Series. Now he wants to play for us.
Yeah.
He's going off for us now.
And in terms of fantasy, who's your buy low and sell high?
I got the young outfielder for Oakland, Billy Burns. He's got a nice mustache, by the way. But other than that,
Very
he's
nice.
hitting 314 with 10 stolen bases. He just came in, so he's probably
Yeah.
gonna get some more stolen
Because
bases.
Coco's,
Yeah.
he was awful.
Yeah, I mean, this he's hit 2 bombs too, so he doesn't. It's not as if he has no pop.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's a power hitter, but yeah.
So I was talking about this a little earlier. My buy low right now. I really see Edwin Encarnacion bouncing back. Like he's dealing with some injuries, but the Blue Jays offense, like we said, just so great.
Yeah.
I got Josh Harrison from Pittsburgh picking it up a little bit. As he got off to a slow start, but as Andrew McCutchen has picked his game up a little bit, I think Josh Harrison has also done that.
Yeah.
For me, it's Jacoby Ellsbury. He's on the DL right now,
Yeah.
but I think he's a very, very talented
He's a
player.
traitor.
And
He is.
once he comes off the DL, he's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Last season, he put up fantastic numbers. Just wait for him to come off the DL, and he's gonna do great things for you.
And then before we move to our way too early fantasy football preview, can I get your MVP for the fantasy season so far?
Goldie. Paul
Paul
Goldschmidt.
Goldie, he's just doing great.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
gotta go with D. Gordon because of the stolen bases. I know my fantasy team is built off stolen bases, but batting 372,
You
the
would
kid's
make it off
stealing
stolen
bad.
bases.
I was debating between Goldschmidt and Harper,
Yeah.
and I chose Harper over Goldschmidt because Harper can play 3 different positions on your fantasy team.
Yeah.
Kind of
I
gives you
agree.
a little more flexibility. there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really Bryce Harper for me.
Yeah.
He stands out a lot more than Goldschmidt.
Too
And
cocky.
so now from
I don't like the guy,
the
but he's
hair.
good.
Yeah,
it
the
doesn't
hair.
matter.
I mean,
I don't care.
And now
Cocky people never
moving
succeed.
from baseball to football. This is way too early.
Yeah.
We know, but we
Hey,
want
but
to.
it's football.
We kinda-
It's never too early for some nice football.
We
What are
kind
you
of
talking about?
want to fill you guys in on what's going on. The rankings just came out, and I really don't like them. I really do not like them.
No, no.
First,
Yeah.
okay, here's
Okay,
my
I bet
problem
you
with
Matthew
the top
Berry
five.
did them.
What?
Eddie
Freaking Matthew
Lacy.
Berry.
Matthew Berry, what
Okay.
you doing, man?
Yeah,
Eddie
I mean,
Lacy.
okay, Eddie Lacy's first. He is the greatest quarterback
Yeah.
in the whole league, okay? That's one. Eddie Lacy. Le'Veon Bell, suspended for 4 games because of marijuana. No. Jamal Charles, already had his breakout year, 2 injury prone. Adrian Peterson coming off his
Yeah,
suspension.
you can't-
That's one that I do like. And Marshawn Lynch, I can't trust the guy. I feel like he's going to retire midseason or he's going to
He's
get
too
banned
weird.
for the
Yeah.
NFL.
He's a
team.
hard
He's an
guy.
oddball.
Yeah.
You can't predict anything.
If you were gonna take a
predict
draft
anything.
where you didn't really want a top 5 pick, this would be that year
Yeah.
because
Oh,
the
yeah,
top 5
definitely.
picks are so risky.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
Each one,
crapshoot.
each one, yeah.
Okay.
But
like
then I
the-
do like Antonio Brown up in the rankings. He's
He's
such
so-
a durable,
I love
and
it.
such
I
a
love
great
it.
wide receiver,
had
especially in
him
a
on one of my
PPR
teams
league.
last,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, what do you guys have as a great value pick in these drafts based off these rankings? Just go quickly.
Based off these rankings, Jordy Nelson, you know?
16.
Yeah, I
Hey, you
think he's
better than that.
I think he's way better than that. I think he's way better than
because
that.
who's throwing him the ball?
Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you know, for me, I gotta say Eli Manning. I don't know what he's ranked there, but I think he's outside the top 10. He had outside the top 10 last year, but Odell Beckham,
Yeah.
Ruben Randall,
OBJ.
a healthy
Lots
Victor
of
Cruz,
options.
Oh, yeah.
a pretty
Lots
good
of options.
offensive line.
With
He
the
line
throws
Baltimore-
too many interceptions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
come
agree
on.
with that.
Who's even their running back this year? Like Andre Williams. They're just-
Rashad Jennings.
yeah, they're just gonna keep passing. Like
He
they
makes
just,
too many mistakes. I don't.
I agree with you.
I'm
yeah.
a little biased because I'm a Pats fan.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
He's just not a
okay.
consistent quarterback.
That's true.
I just don't think he's good.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's good.
Yeah, I'm kind of iffy on that one.
For me, it's Jeremy Maclin. He's a really, really talented guy. 69th overall. Kansas City, I think Alex Smith can really connect
Yeah.
with him.
I
What
don't
do
know
you
about
got?
that.
You
He
got
can't
any?
connect with anyone.
I got Jimmy Graham for my
Yeah,
value
He
pick.
could be good.
I
Yeah.
think it's a little iffy because I don't know
Yeah.
how he's gonna fit in with
Yeah.
Russell
Where is
Wilson.
he? Is he the
But
first
he's-
ranked tight end right now?
Yeah.
No.
But no, no, Gronk is. No, I thought you meant
my bad. Yeah.
Oh,
But
God, yeah.
Graham could have a really good year going to a new team
Dude,
environment.
yeah, I mean, Rodgers at 20, God,
He's so much better
gonna be
than
so
that.
good. He's
So
so
good.
much better than 20.
I think he'll be the best quarterback this year.
He's the best
I
quarterback.
definitely think so.
Best
And
quarterback of
then-
all time. Behind Joe Montana.
Quickly, do you
That-
guys have any
no.
rookies? Any
Joking.
rookies that you like?
Any rookies? No, not
No?
really.
Not really. Yeah. It's just like
You know, I would say Todd Gurley, but I don't really trust him coming off the ACL tear.
Yeah, any rookie?
Yeah, no, it's the same with me. Todd Gurley, but
for a second-year
ACL
player, I
tear.
love Carlos Hyde. I think he's gonna do
Oh,
really
yeah.
well without Frank
Yeah.
Gore in San Francisco.
Yeah, so I think maybe Amari Cooper, but that's it.
Yeah.
We apologize. This is way too early. We know, guys, but we kind of had to give a little input. So thank you, as always, for tuning into our show. Hopefully, we'll be back soon. Go Dubs from JD and Vishal, so we wish them the best.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's a great series, and we hope to see you guys next time.